Now, talkSPORT's football correspondent Alex Crook, he was at the Bernabeu last night. He is joining us now. Good morning to you, Crookie.
Morning, Crookie. What a privilege that must have been last night, mate.
Good morning. Yeah, it was sensational. First ever trip to the Bernabeu, magnificent arena, a magnificent night for Chelsea up until 10 minutes from time. I mean, what's lost in all this, that they have made a piece of history, the first time that an English club have ever won by more than one goal at the Bernabeu in regulation time, and it's still not enough to overturn that first leg deficit. But there were some outstanding performances from Chelsea. I thought Reece James proved why, for me, he's just about the best right fullback in the world. Mason Mount, whose form I'd actually questioned going into the weekend when he was superb against Southampton, he picked up where he left off as well. Rudiger, a colossus in both boxes. But they deserve to go through on the night, but I think Jason Cundy was right at the end of that package. The damage was done at Stamford Bridge, and it was just too much to overturn in the end.
Well, you talk about some of the balls that were produced last night. Reece James, some of the balls that he put into the box as well. He's just exceptional, Alex, isn't he?
Yes, he is. And I think where he probably has the edge over Trent Alexander-Arnold, and they're two outstanding players, is that defensively I think he's a bit more reliable. And you know, I think Gareth Southgate, from what I'm told, is aware of that as well. What about that pass from Luka Modric? I mean, at least as he's passed a decade. I've got to say, I've had the privilege of watching Luka Modric live now on 3 occasions. Twice for Croatia against Scotland at the Euro. Sorry to remind you of that, Ali. But also last night. And he just seems to defy age. He's the Peter Pan of football. I mean, the fact he was still probably running further than anybody on the pitch deep into extra time was a real example to his teammates. I don't know about past a decade. I think for Luka Modric, that's just past of the week. He does that most games.
Do you know what he does, Crookie, unbelievably well? Apart from creating space for himself and finding space for himself, he's got an unbelievable ability to turn away from trouble. You know, just when people... I watched it last night, the ball came into him in the middle of the park, and I'm thinking to myself, he can't get out of there. I thought he's going to have to throw a double six to get out of there. And he just drops his shoulder, gets himself a wee half yard, and toe pokes it into possession. His football brain is amazing, mate.
Yeah, I agree. And he was a privilege to watch. The whole occasion was fantastic. Spent a lot of time with the Chelsea fans in Plaza Mayor, the main square in Madrid. By and large, they were well behaved. There were 1 or 2 skirmishes, I think, nearer to kick-off with Manchester City supporters, which is disappointing. But overall, it's been a fantastic couple of days, barring the end result. And it's ironic, I'm sat here in a Wizard of Oz themed room in my hotel. Laura could probably see the mural behind me. Was it the Tin Man who was looking for a heart? Chelsea certainly showed plenty of heart last night.
I've got to say, before you get any further, coming from a man, right, whose wallpaper has been publicly lambasted on this station for, it seems like decades, your background is at best questionable, Crookie. I've got to say.
It wasn't a request from me, can I just say that? I think every room in the hotel has a different film theme, and this is the one that I happened to stumble across.
You know what? If I woke up after a night in Madrid and I saw that on my wall, I'd wonder what I did the night before. I've got to be honest. If you can't see it on the talkSPORT Edge app, and I'm disappointed because I'm looking at your background, Crookie, compared to Ali McCoy's famous wallpaper background, and I don't know what is worse. I feel like I've just come over all dizzy or something. It's just very strange, isn't it?
Okay, my nan had that wallpaper.
Let's get you back onto topic because Benzema, it was funny, wasn't it? We and Ali were speaking earlier on about how he'd almost had a bit of a quiet game, and then all of a sudden just appears when you need him. Well, not when Chelsea need him, of course, but it had to be Benzema in a way, didn't it?
Yeah, he headed against the crossbar towards the end of normal time. But apart from that, you're right, they did a good job keeping him quiet. I suppose the disappointing element for Thomas Tuchel, when you look at the goal, is Chelsea really masters of their own downfall. They gave the ball away inside their own half. Then they were out of position. Rudiger slipped, leaving Benzema unmarked. It was quite an ugly goal to concede. But again, overall, when you look at his performance at Stamford Bridge and with that goal last night, I guess he was the difference maker. I do agree with Jason Cundy, and you'll probably ask me for a prediction about Manchester City this evening in Madrid. I think if and when I expect them to go through tonight, I think over 2 legs, they will be too strong for Real Madrid. I still don't think this is a vintage Real Madrid side.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods. Monday to Wednesday morning, 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.